Welcome to PM Express Business Edition. The Finance Minister, Ken Ofori-Atta, has finally presented the 2022 budget to Parliament. He outlined government policies in terms of what they want, how they want to raise revenue and spend as well, some tax policy measures as well, and what they are trying to do to create an entrepreneurial spirit among the youth and job creation as well. But there are still concerns about revenue, expenditure, and also business confidence as well. Well, on PM Express Business Edition, we'll be engaging the Deputy Minister of Finance, Dr. John Kumah, as you look at debt, tax, revenue, and also stability of the economy. All these things wrapped up on PM Express Business Edition. We're right back after this break. Welcome back to PM Express Business Edition as we talk about the 2022 budget presentation. And we are glad to have with us in studio Deputy Minister of Finance, Dr. John Kumah. Yes, of course, the budget has been presented, but there are issues about the country's debt. There are issues about revenue. There are issues about taxes, and there are also issues about business confidence and economic stability as well. All these questions wrapped up as we engage the Deputy Minister of Finance, Dr. John Kumah. Doc, how are you doing?
George, I'm doing well.
I know you guys have had some sleepless nights,
yes,
pre and even post as well.
Oh, yes. In fact, weeks ahead of the budget, it's sleepless hours. You have to put in a lot of work to get to where we are now. And the immediate aftermath of the budget, it's also time to engage the public and explain to them the policy rationalization behind the budget and the policy objectives and why government is taking some steps that will bring enormous benefits to the people. So we cannot rest now until the objective is
How are
achieved.
you guys thinking communication? Because already I've seen some stuff to make sure that still you are speaking from the same pot to consumers out there and to Ghanaians as well.
Yes, it's very important that we all speak one language as government communicators trying to explain the budget. But of course, the budget comes through a process, through EMT, through cabinet, through the technical sessions. So before it comes out, so many members of government have already engage it at different levels. So we all know exactly what goes into it and how to defend it together. So I believe that, of course, you may have one or two minute differences in terms of its communication, but we'll put the pieces together.
There's one thing that has come up, which I want clarity from you about what went into it. And it's been said that illegal, and then the impact of it on our fiscals as well. You announced in the budget that road tolls will be removed.
Yes.
And then it will be placed as a e-levy tax and all the rest.
Yes.
Now, we know that the budget is approved. It takes effect from next year.
Yes.
Then we had a Minister of Transport coming out say that, listen, this thing is taken off today.
Yes.
Now, the Speaker has come out and said it is illegal, so revert that directive. Some are saying that there are some implications even on the revenue as well, because some are saying that, listen, that's financial loss to the state. The Minister of Transport should be hauled before the court and all the rest. Now it's illegal, so it's been directed that go back and then... What do you make of this development?
I respectfully disagree with the Speaker of Parliament.
Isn't it put together as a budget document for it to be approved collectively?
Respectfully, the Speaker doesn't have the powers in the law to determine an illegality in this country. Parliament make laws. The executive implement the laws. It is only the judiciary that can interpret the law and make it legal or illegal. First of all, I have the act here. Whatever the road minister did was right in law, and he has the authority and power.
And why did you place it in the budget document? Because it has to be approved. And it takes effect from next year.
Yes, I will show you. This is the Tolls Act 1973, NLCD 153. If you read it, tolls on roads and bridges. The minister may, by legislative instrument, make regulations declaring a road to be a toll road. Okay? So it is the minister, the authority to determine toll roads in Ghana. the authority is given to the minister.
Why did you place it in the budget statement?
We'll get there.
Okay.
The authority is given to the minister to decide where to place road tolls. Okay, this is the law.
Okay.
Now, if you take the 1992 Constitution, Article 297, let me just read for you briefly, just for your listeners, to understand that in our Constitution, when you are given the authority in an act, okay, Article 297, Clause C and D, but let me just read the D for sake of time. Where a power is conferred to make any constitutional or statutory instrument, regulation, and the key thing here is regulation, or rule, or pass any resolution or give any direction, the power shall be construed as including the power exercisable in the same manner to amend or to revoke the constitutional or statutory instrument, regulation, rules, or resolution, or direction as the case may be. This is the Constitution. The Constitution says that if a law like this gives you power to establish road toll, that same power can be construed to say that you have the power to revoke it. Okay? So he is the road minister. And he says that he has suspended the road toll, but he cannot repeal it. So his suspension is to go to Parliament and get Parliament to repeal it. But the power to revoke it, it is granted in this Constitution.
Aren't you also doing the same interpretation here that you are accusing?
Yes, but I won't give an order. I'm not in Parliament. Because I'm speaking as a lawyer.
The convention here is
the speaker cannot sit in Parliament and order a minister.
The convention,
it is not within the powers
of...
The
convention is that you put policies in the budget. It's collectively approved by the House and it takes effect. Why didn't you separate this, just like what you do with the petroleum funds, as a separate thing and table it in Parliament?
And I'm saying that the authority of the minister is not in the budget.
In the same place by doing this.
Listen, the authority of the minister is in this law, not in the budget. It's in this law and it's in this Constitution. And I'm saying it's within this law and this Constitution for the road minister to take decision on road tolls. And he has done it within his law, within the limits of the law. It is not up to the Speaker of Parliament, whose role as a legislature is to make the law. The interpretation of that law is by the judiciary. And the implementation of those laws is the executive.
What has been the convention, Doc, in terms of these policies when it is announced in the budget? This is the first time I stand to educated where a measure is announced in the budget, then it takes immediate effect. The convention has always been that the House approves the document, then it takes effect the next financial year.
The convention you are talking about...
I don't know, I'm just talking about the convention.
The convention you are talking about is in respect of approval of budgets.
Yeah.
And I am saying that the authority of the minister that he exercised is not derived from the budget. If you are looking for the source of that authority and you trace it to the 2022 budget, then you say he has erred, because that budget is not yet approved by Parliament. So you cannot derive authority from it. But I'm saying his authority is in this law and in this Constitution. Okay, and as long as he remains the minister of road, this law allows him the authority to establish where to cite road tolls. And the Constitution says that if you are given the power to make regulations to cite road tolls, you have, it is implied under Article 297, Clause D, that you have the same power to revoke it. And he has revoked it.
So the minister hasn't...
He has
There's
not
a directive that he should reverse that directive.
That is an illegal directive.
You work with the ministry.
No,
what did you advise to them?
That is an illegal directive.
Are they going to respect that directive?
Which minister takes authority from the Speaker of Parliament? We don't
so
take
he's
directive.
not going to respect.
In fact, it is ultra various instruction.
Interesting. And so we're still going to have the tolls booth being shut down.
Of course.
That's the directive.
He is the minister. He has the right.
Reverse that directive and let the toll booth come to Parliament.
This is
get
the law.
Approval from the House.
This is the law. You see, I'm saying that the authority of the minister is not in the budget.
Aren't we setting,
it is in this law.
Aren't we setting a bad
and this Constitution
here, Honorable?
Yes.
When it comes to where policy measures are put in the budget,
yes.
Can the same thing be applied to the Momo tax and the e-tax that is taking effect
exactly.
now?
So you see, that's what I'm saying, that if you are deriving your source of authority, for instance, there's no Momo tax now. So you are waiting for the budget to be accepted, okay? And even that you cannot implement it. You now have to go with the Momo Act, okay? The e-levy regulations for it to be accepted. In that case, you are waiting for your authority from the budget and from Parliament. That one you cannot. But where a law confers an authority on you, like this one, I've brought you the law. The Constitution says that any law or authority that you give to a public officer, in the exercise of that authority, it is implied that he also has authority to revoke that law. And it is here, it's the Constitution. So he is not waiting on the budget that we have presented to Parliament. He has exercised it within the law and the Constitution of the country. So there's nothing wrong.
Are you guys ready for the showdown?
We are more than ready for the showdown.
Let's look at move to your revenue.
Yes, let's discuss measures. Budget now. Let's leave the law.
What went into some of these measures? Because first, let me look at the industry consultation.
Yes.
Because most of the players that we've engaged was like, Joy, we didn't know about this thing. We didn't know about this thing. We had it on air. Yeah. What was so secretive about budgets? I mean, normally in the past, there were lots of industry engagement.
Yes.
What happened this time?
Well, I will say that there was still a lot of consultations before we even arrived at some of the measures, especially the YE levy, and all the other measures. Lots of consultations went into it.
Were the telcos engaged?
Of course, the telcos were engaged through the Ministry of Communication. We have to assign different people to do different things.
But they said they were not engaged.
And, well, you cannot engage everybody. There has to be limited engagement to a point. But it is still not yet fully out because we are yet to put the regulation and take it to Parliament. So the engagement hasn't ceased. We will continue to engage and flesh it out onto a level where it is acceptable to everybody, okay? But let me give a little bit background. I've seen people referring to Kenya and Uganda and all kinds of places. Yes, we took our time, we did a lot of research into all those places who have already rolled out e-taxes and its impact on the economy. And we brought it to Ghana, and we saw that in Ghana, apart from the BOG figures of about 500 billion in transactions in 2020, the outlook is for further growth even to about 900 billion. So, and if you look at how the Ghanaian e-market has been packaged over time, we have allowed it into a level of maturity where now government can intervene. But we saw that there were a category of these users, especially in the Momo area, where they are very sensitive to any imposition of tax. Yeah. And we saw that that category constituted about 30 to 40%. And those people don't do Momo tax above 100 Ghana cedis a day. So as part of this levy, all those category of Ghanaians who do Momo transfers up to 100 cedis a day have been exempted from this law, okay, from this levy. They are not going to pay. And it sums up to about 3,000 Ghana cedis a month, okay? So clearly, we are very conscious about how we implement this levy, not to hurt people and disrupt the digitalization agenda as many people have concerns about. So we are not going to target a particular group of Ghanaians who do this Momo up to 100 Ghana cedis a day. So that is one thing that I want to put across. On the question of engagements, it is, and all this research, we spoke to about 10,000 people, including...
In Ghana?
Yes, in Ghana.
About Momo tax?
Yes.
Interesting. When
yes,
was it
we had a you see, some things are not made.
I know, but when was it done? I want to know when the period...
It's been over a period of more than 1 year. Okay? There was a private...
COVID time or pre-COVID times?
All periods. You see, because government has been attempting, even in times past, to see how we can come out with a digital levy. But government needed to be sure that we are doing this on a strong footing. So we commissioned a consultant. Okay, I don't know if I'm allowed to put his name out.
No, forget about
Yes, but I'm not going to put his name out. Okay. But he spoke to over 10,000. All his full report is there, and the recommendations and how we can implement it for us to achieve the objective of raising further revenue. You see, the importance of this e-tax is to help government expand the tax base. If you talk to tax consultants in our country, one of the key advice they give you, expand the tax base, rope in the informal sector, let more people pay the tax, okay? So how do you achieve that? One of the key ways you achieve this is through the digital tax that we have introduced. But you are doing that, it has to be progressive. People want the rich people in this country to pay more tax than poor people.
Incidence of tax.
Incidence of tax. So we are saying that, okay, up to a certain level of 100 Ghana cedis a day, let's protect those in the poverty line and then engage those who can afford to pay more to pay this levy. You get it. So a lot of engagement and consultation and research has gone into
What
this.
What went into capping of that 100 Ghana cedis? Because there's this argument about the fact that if you transfer more than 100 cedis, you are not poor. But a market woman who might be poor can still be doing more than 100 Ghana cedis a day if you're using the UN standard of poverty and whatever.
Yes.
That is not that person's income.
Yes, but
he or she is trading with that fund.
Yes, it's true. But let's go on a principle of citizens' obligations to the state. It doesn't matter poor or rich. We are all citizens of Ghana, requiring the state to be responsible towards us in terms of availability of funds for youth jobs, building our roads and infrastructure, and putting our children into schools. Government has to do all kinds of expenditures. And it's for us. Government, all these monies we are saying is going to government. Who is government? We are the government, and government cannot spend without receiving. So these measures is just to help government raise revenues, which will eventually be spent on the poor and the rich. The hospitals you attend, whether you are rich or poor, you have to still attend to hospital. The roads that you ply on. So we should have the discussion in that context, that the fact that we want to protect a certain level of threshold of income earners does not mean that we don't have a responsibility to the state. So what we have done is to try and do a balance. Whilst we preserve a certain level, let us also find a way to show responsibility to the state. And as citizens, we also have to be willing and be patriotic to contribute.
Did this research that you embarked upon or carried out also give you the possible consumer reaction when this tax is placed on, i.e. compared to other countries?
Yes.
What was the research?
The research predicted about 24% of initial withdrawal. Initial. But it said initial withdrawal.
24% of
24% initially. So we factored that even in the revenue calculations. Okay. Yeah. So I've told you we have done detailed work to get to where we are, and all the things happening is not new to us. We know we will have to go through this to engage people further and then explain to people and Ghanaians the benefits of these very innovative interventions that can help government and help our people. Okay.
Isn't there a fear that those 24 persons that will withdraw, there could be cascading effect, if I can use that as well?
I mean, 24% of possibilities of withdrawal.
Is it the entire population or
of the users? Yes, of the users. But first of all, remember a certain category, 30 to 40% have not been touched. So there will be no incentive to withdraw if you are sending below 100. We have done the analysis, as I told you, per the research, about 30 to 40% of Momo transaction users do not exceed 100 cedis a day. That's the statistics. And we are saying that those categories are not part of this e-levy. So they will continue to transact. And then the next category that we are introducing the 1.75 on, the research said that about 24% of them may have initial withdrawal. So we have factored all that. And then there is a solution that has been prescribed, okay, for that further engagement. By the same research, I've told you that we are not rushing to introduce a policy that we haven't thought through. And people have referred us to Kenya. We went for the Kenya example, the Mpasa.
And this research is telling you that we won't have a repeat of what is happening in those countries.
No.
Based on the research.
Yes, based on the research. And 1 year is not far. We will come back to these discussions for Ghanaians to confirm that indeed this proposal was one of the best to salvage.
Help me out the area, even though the minister gave us some indications.
Yes.
This tax, what services or transactions are they affected?
Okay, so let me just take you through some of them. First of all is the mobile money transfers, okay? So the e-levy will be implemented as a transaction fee, okay, for digital transactions done from a mobile money or bank account anytime you transfer money to someone else or make payment to a merchant or service provider, the e-levy will be paid by the sender of the transfer or payment. So if you are receiving the money, you are not going to pay anything. No.
Consumption tax.
It's a consumption tax.
So help me out. If I do a transfer, 200 Ghana cedis, MTN already charges me something on that.
Yes.
How would this charge be placed? Is it on the commission of the operator or the value of what I'm transferring?
It is the first 100 cedis of what you transferred will not be touched. But the next amount after the 100 Ghana cedis will be charged with the 1.75. Would that be
the value of what I'm transferring?
Yes.
Isn't that, it's interesting. So the 100 cedis will be waived, but additional 100 cedis will be charged.
Yes.
So what if I do a split transaction? I do 100, I go about 5 hours later, I come back 100.
It's a day. You see, it's digital, so it will be calculating your hours in a day. So in a day, you can do 20 cedis, 10 cedis, 5 cedis. If it all doesn't add up to 100 Ghana, you're okay.
So some clarity here. The levy is on the value of what you're transferring.
Yes.
That could be a disincentive. So
yes, if we have heard that
10,000.
Yes, we have heard that criticism. So we have heard that criticism. So like I told you, it's part of the engagement. From now till we finish completely the regulation, some people have proposed a capping to a certain amount. Okay, it could be considered, but for now,
implementation may be varied.
Yes, maybe varied.
It takes off.
Oh yes.
So it could end up being that even capping it so that when it goes beyond a certain amount,
you just pay the same amount. It's possible. Because even the telcos, even though they charge 1 cedi, 1% of your transaction, beyond 10 cedis, they don't charge again.
Yeah.
So yes, all these are possible recommendations that could come to shape up the levy so that it becomes acceptable to everybody.
Do I get the commitment from government that the door hasn't been closed yet on this?
No, yes.
The engagement, you still fine-tune how it should be implemented.
Yes,
because the fear is that,
listen,
if I'm a company and I'm paying tax on doing this, I'll tell them, listen, come to the office and collect the cash. And the fear here is that, listen, the gains we've made going cashless, this is going to send us back because nobody wants to pay tax on these things.
Well, see, nobody
majority of
globally doesn't
majority
want to pay
of Ghanaians,
but
from what we've heard so far.
Yes, nobody wants to pay tax anywhere in the world. But without tax, no country can run. Okay? And if you check globally, Ghana is one of the least tax-paying country in the world, even in Africa. When we have a regional tax to revenue contribution of about 20 to 25%, Ghana is doing 12%.
Aren't we having the same persons being taxed? I mean, I look at the data the Minister of Finance presented, where 90% of the domestic tax is coming from Greater Accra.
But that data is not reflective entirely because, listen, most companies have their offices in Accra, but they may have branches in Kumasi or Takoradi. But when they are paying their tax, they report it from Accra. So it doesn't mean that all taxes are coming from Greater Accra as is being interpreted. But because of where they pay it from, because a lot of transactions happen in other places in this country. But like I said, it's like Ghana is too much saturated in Accra. And so even if you're operating in Takoradi, you still want to have a head office in Accra and that kind of. So when it comes to reporting, it will be seen as Accra, but it doesn't mean that.
You still won't take away the issues about compliance and enforcement.
We are.
And the Ghana Revenue Authority doing their best. But the argument is that it's still the same people who are paying the taxes.
Yes.
Expanding the tax net is not about rate hikes, introducing new taxes.
Totally perfect on that. And in this budget, one of the tax measures we are introducing is the RACE, the Revenue Assurance, Compliance and Enforcement, which is a whole unit. It's like the last defense to tax evasion in the country, okay? And it comprises YOCO, it's now NIB, used to be BNI, Ministry of Finance, the audit people. So they come together to form the RACE unit, okay? And their role is to ensure compliance and to chase after people who are, going through the net. Yes, but it's going on, okay? It's part of the revenue measures
Hasn't it
to
kept
reach
too
out.
long?
At
It
least.
has. I mean, for the past
it
5
could
years
be.
or 10 years, we're expanding the tax net to compliance. But listen, when you go into the business space, they can point to you, Kobna out there, this person out there.
Yeah.
Even at the ports, they know those who bring stuff and they don't pay.
So this particular raise program is based on whistleblower, and you get reward for exposing such things if you go to them and tell them that as soon as he's supposed to pay this amount of tax he has evaded, they will go into it. If it's established, you get a percentage of that tax paid to government. So all those things are being done. And then the more important reason why we must all accept this tax or levy is its outreach to almost everybody in the country. People say, oh, expand the tax net, let everybody be part so that we can spread.
But the number has not improved, Doc. Because
Which number?
The number of total persons who are paying taxes.
This was,
unless it has not been published yet.
This is 2022.
Okay.
I mean, this will take effect in 2022.
Okay.
Another step that we have taken is when we replaced 10 numbers in Ghana, which was about 4.6% of the population, with the Ghana card. It immediately shot it to about 86%. Okay, so now the potential taxpayers in Ghana, as far as visibility to the law is concerned, is about 86%. So we now have to make sure all professionals, people who have not been paying their taxes, you'll be there and you receive a letter, a love letter from the race team that you are estimated to pay this income tax, but you have not, and so come and show cause why you should not pay. So all those programs have been put in place, and it is part of the 2020 measures for enforcement. Okay, so it's not just about the tax, but we are doing a number of compliance engagements to ensure that we are able to rake in more revenues. And one good thing that happened in this budget is that we took away about 5 different taxes from people, including the road to pay. No, we could still have maintained it and still
you are
introduce
taking it
this.
away and you're introducing something else.
No, it's because of the times we are in. Because I can tell you, many people don't like the idea that we have removed road toll because they think that it's a measure that was bringing revenue to government. Okay. Yes, but government is also looking at other factors. Apart from the cost, the inconvenience of having to queue in a traffic for, say, 30 minutes just to go and pay 1 cedi. Look at the burnt fuel, the fuel you burn just being in traffic to go and pay 1 cedi, okay? And we believe that we will enhance productivity when we are able to remove the tolls, allow traffic flow. People have shown concern about other countries' trucks coming into Ghana. Those ones may be treated differently because they will still have to go through the ASA loading and they will still be charged for the usage of our roads because they are foreign cars, they are not local cars. So these policies will not affect. Since you've spoken
about the road toll, just a quick clarity from you. I know that you have some agreements that cover in terms of bringing investors to invest in that space.
Yes, the PPP.
You privatize these roads. So what happens to that agreement now?
No,
if a foreign investor is coming in to maybe construct a road linking maybe Kumasi and Bole and all the rest, what is the assurance now for that person to recoup his or her investment?
Yes, the policy was very clear. Public roads. Okay, so we are not doing...
You are not towing these roads again, so what is going to happen?
No, if it's a public road, we are not towing it.
Yeah.
But if it's a PPP arrangement, which is now allowed in law, for instance, you know, University of Ghana has done their own roads and through a private arrangement and have a toll booth there. You cannot go and remove it because you are removing toll booths on public roads because that is not a public road by definition of what we have. Public roads by definition is where we have constructed that roads with public funds. But if by the PPP arrangement and law, private investors come and construct a particular road, government will allow them to toll.
So let me set a scenario here. Maybe an investor comes in, construct or expand the Tema Highway maybe to a 6-lane.
Yes.
Is that going to be tolled?
Yes, he'll be allowed to recover his debt. Yes.
How do you connect that with the current
Totally different.
How?
The difference is in the source of funding for the road. Okay, and our law makes it clear. The PPP Act, if you check it, it allows government to allow private people to come in to construct roads and to recover their investment. Okay? But government is saying, where we have used your tax, okay, you have already paid for it. We are saying that where we have used your revenues to build a road, work on it. Don't pay anything. But you see, the inequity...
I see that as interesting.
Yeah, see, it doesn't matter. But let me tell you the injustice in these road tolls.
Yeah.
Those who live in plush areas, okay, if you come to Accra, Cantonment, Laboni, Ajirigano, add on West Legon. Have you seen toll booths there?
No, I haven't.
Thank you. Go to the poorer areas. Kaswa, Ashamai, Temamoto Way, Ebri, Etiwa, my constituency, Kubase, Mampontin. It is where the villages, and if you cross from Malam to Kaswa every day, if you are a taxi driver or trotro driver, and you are using that area 10 times in 10 times, on each occasion you are paying. Okay? But the person who lives on the asphaltic roads in Ajirigan or Laboni, who has all the money and can afford property worth millions of dollars, he pays nothing. But the poor person has to pay every day. Is that equitable?
No.
So government is saying, let's do something that allows traffic to flow. Let's rather adopt a process that brings much more equity. And then at the same time, achieve better results for our country.
In terms of projections, how much are you hoping to get from this levy in a full financial year next year?
Yes, next year we're expecting about 6.9 billion Ghana cedis in the first year of implementation. And we believe that it will help us. Look, the road tolls that we are talking about averagely was bringing in about 78 million Ghana cedis the whole year. So we have committed to paying that road fund of 78 million annually to the road fund, so that the workers who used to be in these toll booths will continue to keep their job. They'll continue to receive their salaries, okay? We don't want anybody...
I understand you absorb them into other
absorbing them
and agencies.
Yes, they are going to work and keep their job.
Assured.
Yes,
but today we're speaking to one of them and talking about delayed in salary payments as well.
That one, every Ghanaian, you know,
well,
yes.
You can
sometimes no, it's not about management. Like it's difficult. But
3 months will not being paid. But for that person, taking just about 200 Ghana cedis,
I know.
He has wired kids.
I know, but you see, we are running a deficit economy. So sometimes delays happen.
Now, who caused them?
We all cause some.
Interesting.
Yes.
Because if things are being managed, I don't expect that salaries would be 2 or 3 months or 4 months.
It happens. It's the reality that sometimes. It's not a fact of being broke, okay? It's a fact that sometimes what is due you can delay.
So we are not broke?
I'm not sure we are broke.
We have enough money in the
Of course.
So what is stopping that from...
But you see, sometimes we need to take bold decisions. Let me tell you, the revenue expenditure for 2021, the whole year, we're expecting to raise about 72 billion, but our expenditure was 113 billion. Okay, so that is what creates the deficits. If you are spending...
your quote according to your size.
Yes,
Too much political expenditures.
It's not only political, but also economic.
Corruption.
Which is possible, okay?
Obviously possible.
Yes, of course. But you see, we must all work within the constraints and improve it over time. There is no way within a day you can solve some of these pertinent issues. So you have to work in time to improve them. But I can tell you, this corruption thing you're talking about, government is serious in terms of improving systems, ensuring better internal auditing processes. We're talking about the special prosecutor. We are digitalizing a lot of these processes in terms of, it's wherever there are more human engagement, you can understand some of these shortcuts.
What assurance do I get from you, I mean, Revenue, Finance Ministry, about value for money and prudence with respect to these monies that are being raised? Because that is where the concern
is. Yes.
People are willing to pay tax,
yes.
but they want to see things being done with these money.
Yes.
Value for money
yes.
and protection of the public purse.
There's one assurance I can give, that we are going to see aggressive construction of our roads, especially with this e-levy. Okay, if you look at the quantum of funds that are coming, I can assure you contractors in Ghana, especially road contractors and all other areas, will be happier. Also, this is the first time that young people in this country have heard good news of government commitment, not just in words, but in financial allocation of about 10 billion, okay, targeting the U-Start and making sure that young people who are looking for jobs and have ideas can tap into this funding arrangement and create their own jobs.
How would disbursement be done? How is it? I want clarity on
the U-Start, okay,
and ensuring that it goes to the right people and not party foot soldiers.
Okay, so we have, let me say, 3 major partners: the NEIP and the GEA, which used to be NBSSI, will do the major training and capacity building, and then the banking or the financial institutions who are the third partners. Now, you know, these financial institutions, sometimes their policy towards startups and SME is not something to be happy about. So we are going to have a special compact arrangement with participating banks so that they agree to give out these funds at a certain percentage, not more than 10%. Okay, no collateral requirements and more flexible arrangements to allow young people to have patient capital to do their businesses, okay? Now, disbursement will be done through the banks. And you have to go through proper bookkeeping, capacity building, and understand how to properly grow your business, okay? So this has been properly arranged and thought through. And I can assure you, even at the university levels, we are going to create various endowment funds in every university campus in Ghana through this arrangement. So whilst you're on campus, you can apply for funding for your business idea on campus.
Honorable, I just want to take a break here. If you just joined us, this is PM Express Business Edition, talking about the 2022 budget, debt, tax, revenue, and more other interesting aspects of this budget as well. Dr. John Kuma is the Deputy Minister of Finance. We're looking at our debt issues as well. Debt sustainability going into 2022. Are we still going to borrow heavily? And how do we deal with our rising interest payments? We'll be right back after this break. Welcome back to PM Express Business Edition as we talk about the budget 2022. The Deputy Minister of Finance, Dr. John Kuma, as we talk about debt, taxes, confidence, business, and also stabilization of the economy. We're talking about the e-tax, which has taken almost of the time or so, but still some clarity, because there are still some who are worried that it's some level of double taxation.
Double taxation, yes. Well, okay, maybe there's
and other areas that have also been affected as well.
So I think I spoke about the money transfer. Let me talk about the money merchant payments. So when you pay for a service or product from a merchant using your mobile money, you'll be covered by the levy. And the merchant payments using POS or the QR code. Transactions at merchant locations that are doing using POS or QR, alternative payment channel will also be charged the levy. And then the e-commerce, online payments, okay, e-levy will be charged to customer for payments for goods or services. Then bank transfers and checks will be exempt from the levy. Okay, I think in the morning, I was asked whether bank transfers were covered.
Transfers, electronic transfers. They will not be charged.
Yes.
But what about using a POS, a card, a credit card, a debit card to do a transaction? You'll be charged?
No, you will not.
Interesting.
You will not.
Okay.
Bank transfers and checks.
They will not be.
They will not be covered.
If I use my POS to pay for something at maybe a Crown Mall, would I be charged?
No. Which one is the POS?
The credit, using your debit card slot into the machine, the merchant machines to pay for transactions at this thing.
So merchant payments using POS or QR are covered. You will be charged.
I see.
Yes.
But again, that's where QR code is just picking up. Again, the concern here about it discouraging people as well.
Okay, but let me tell you, the bank transfer, I think that one is of more concern to people. Now, when you do the normal bank transfers, okay, you are exempt from this tax. But if you use your bank account to transfer money to, let's say, a Momo account, to a different Momo account, even though it's a bank transfer, it will still be covered. But there's a normal, traditional bank transfers of movement of funds, okay, into payment of different things. Those traditional transfers we are not going to charge the volume of the transfer. Yeah. But the bank have their charges on those bank transfers. The bank's charges, okay, may or will be affected by the levy.
Interesting. In one breath, it's a consumption tax. In another breath, don't you think that quickly coming out with the regulations and clarity would help? Because there is still a lot of ambiguity about how this tax is being applied.
That is why we are breaking it down. So if you are doing bank transfers,
let's quickly run through the areas that will be affected.
Writing checks,
our viewers.
You will be exempt, okay? Yeah. Then there's the daily free limit. Yeah. If you use it up to 100 Ghana cedis, you are covered. And we have explained the rationale behind that, okay?
What about using it to pay government tax?
No, so you are not. You are exempted.
Why are you exempted?
You are already paying tax. Why should we? So those going on the Ghana.gov and
to use it to pay,
so
you would
not be charged. All those exemptions will be clarified as part of the regulations.
How soon would these regulations be out?
Before January, it has to be out because we have to implement it from 1st.
Do you think that maybe frequently asked questions as well will help?
Yes, we have it, and it's coming out very soon.
When is it going to come out?
We just did the budget yesterday.
But you know that the ambiguity is also creating a lot of confusion.
No, there's no confusion. It is clear that the tax, the e-tax is coming. The clarity and the specifics will definitely find its way in the final act that is put before Parliament, and all those details.
Let's come to the You Start program initiative.
The You Start.
And the concern here, and I was trying to get from you that what measures have you put in place to ensure that these financial support are going to go to the right entrepreneurs and not party foot soldiers?
Yes, it's very important. And if you look at the model of the NEIP program from day one of its implementation, it's got nothing to do with foot soldiers. There's an objective platform for application. You have to go through application with your business idea or model. All applicants qualify to go for training. Okay, so it doesn't matter your background. It is your business concept that will be assessed. Okay, and when you are judged by the consultants who are apolitical and the judges who will be put in place to assess your business. If they qualify you to receive the funding, you either go, depending on your level, either to get a grant or get a loan, a soft loan through any of these financial institutions or through NEIP or GEA. Okay, so it's a very objective process. But beyond these institutions that we are talking about, we want to bring the entrepreneurship drive down to university campuses.
I see.
Okay, and so we are going to deliberately encourage every university campus to also receive a fund that they may match, okay, and create an existing entrepreneurship fund on every campus of Ghana, so that we can encourage university students whilst they are on campus to start actually implementing. And as part of the compact agreement that we'll sign with the universities, we will be engaging them and the Minister of Education, of course, to help us allow students to have a year sabbatical leave. Elsewhere, that's what they do. You apply, you get funding, you can take off 1 year or even 2 years of your university education to go and pursue your business idea. And when after a year or two you think you are comfortable, you come back and graduate. But by the time you are graduating, you have an existing business and you are a CEO. That is the concept we want to build in Ghanaians. And I can tell you there are so many young people in our country with good ideas.
Who qualifies?
Every Ghanaian with an idea qualifies. It's not everybody who can be an entrepreneur. But anybody who believes that he can do something for himself, please, you qualify. Okay, and I know so many young people will jump at this. This is the first time we have seen serious commitment of the government, committing huge resources to groom the youth and give them confidence that they can do it.
All other things being equal, when are we hoping that this initiative, that Kwame Mensah and maybe in Ochebeyate or something can then walk to regional office to submit his proposal for it to be approved?
Well, the budget will be approved by January. I believe once it's approved, we will start implementation.
You have the institutions and all the
yes, there is the NEIP and the GEA. The U-Start is already even engaging young people. Last month, we were in UPSA with the Minister of Finance, Honorable Ken Oforiatta, on the Springboard program, where we met several students and explained the concept to them. Before the end of this month, I think on 29th of this month, we are going to Cape Coast University to also meet a number of the students on campus and other institutions, but we'll host it on UCC campus and further engage them on the opportunities government has provided for them, especially in this budget, so that when finally we launch the U-Start, beginning from January, whether through the NEIP or the GEA, any Ghanaian with a plan to set up your own business and become your own boss will have opportunity to apply and take advantage of this massive. And you see, it's not just NEIP and GEA. We have a number of banking partner institutions where you can apply and get proper scale up. And let me put it clear, even though it's a U-Start and a lot of emphasis on startup ideas, existing businesses with capacity to scale up also qualify. The objective of government
You talked about supporting private sector as
yes.
well. What are you giving to an institution A Georgia and Co, who is
yes.
going to employ young graduates?
Yes.
What are you giving
exactly, that's where I'm talking about.
Yes.
So, but already in 2017, there are a number of existing laws that were passed on tax exemptions for businesses that employ more than 1% of their workforce as graduates. I mean, if you employ fresh graduates into your business, there are tax exemption levels from 1% to 10% to even 15% in our
but let me just still get your quick thought on debt sustainability. I look at next year and we are still being heavy on borrowing. A Eurobond, sustainability bond, and the concern is that, listen, we are not getting out of this situation. We are still going to borrow more and more and more, whilst interest payment is now our biggest spending item on our budget.
Yeah. In fact, the 2022 budget is one that really is anchored on fiscal consolidation and debt sustainability.
With more Eurobonds?
No, I mean, if you check the amount of revenues, or even let's use the fiscal deficit, the Eurobond target in this budget is 750 million euros. That is about one of the least we have had in a very long time. But if you check, we are targeting what you call fiscal deficit from 12.1% to 7.4%. And for the first time in a long while, when COVID and post-COVID came in 2022, we are going to post a positive primary balance. Okay, that tells you that there's debt sustainability, and gradually we are seeking to bring down the debt levels, okay, and make sure that we even come back to the fiscal responsibility threshold of 5%, which has been suspended because of COVID. The idea was to hit it by 2024. But if in the 2022 budget, we are doing 7.4%, it means that we may be able to even reach the 5% before the 2024.
4 years budget, that didn't come down. Some will say that they don't see that coming down because now you are going to repay some of these debts and it's going to kick in the interest payment as well.
Yeah, it couldn't come down because of COVID. And globally, every nation added on to their debt, okay? And I'll be surprised if anybody wants to discount the impact of COVID on the economy. So that is why it didn't come down. But now we are recovering. And like I told you, if you look at the fiscal targeting of this budget, serious fiscal consolidation, serious discipline to debt sustainability, and gradually we are posting positive primary balance, and we are ensuring that our debt levels are coming down.
Honorable, in a minute, wrap up to businesses out there, to the youth out there who are aware, to those who are still skeptical about value for money and prudence for money being managed. In a minute, please.
Yes, the assurance we want to give to Ghanaians is that your economy is in best hands. The vision of His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo is to build a Ghana beyond aid. Ghana beyond aid simply means we take our destiny into our own hands. It may not necessarily be no borrowing, but it means that even where we borrow, we have to show responsibility. We have to cut down on the inefficiencies. But we are also pleading. Without you, government cannot do its proposals, its targeting and programs. All the expenditure measures and flagship programs, the youth jobs, the roads we need to build, the schools we have to build, and the health agenda 111. Before we can achieve all this, we need your contribution in terms of your payment of tax. So we know the hardship we are in. That's why we are taking away road tolls, we are taking several taxes. So support government in our drive to raise revenue, and government will also ensure we do effective application of these revenues.
Dr. John Kumah, Deputy Minister of Finance. I know the debate will still go on in your offices, in your homes, about whether enough is being done to grow the revenue and also be prudent with our monies, and also debt sustainability. It has been our discussion on the budget 2022 with Deputy Minister of Finance, Dr. John Kumah. I know the debate will go on, and I know have a great day. This is PM Express Business Edition.